cash is the first thing that anyone wants to talk about, being uncertain periods, certain periods. For me, I normally get those big flashing lights that say, don't panic. Like on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you have don't panic in big, bold red letters. That's what I get in my mind. And that's something that I do think many people should follow. No knee-jerk reactions. Anyway, joking aside, in terms of not panicking, hopefully you have a robust enough cash strategy that allows you significant buffers to be able to tide over the peaks and troughs.
Hey there, listeners. Can you believe it? We're already on season 4 of the Alchemy Uncensored podcast. Before we dive into today's episode, I've got one quick favour to ask. I'm sure anyone that listens to podcasts will know what I'm about to ask. But if you've been loving the journey so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode, especially as we keep leveling up this season. And while you're at it, why not leave us a review? Your feedback has been a huge part of what's gotten us to season 4, and it helps us keep bringing you the content you love. And of course, one more thing. If you're feeling extra generous, share this episode with a friend who'd love to hear it. Let's grow this amazing community together. And all right, that's it for now. So let's get straight into the show. Thank you. Welcome back to Alchemy Uncensored podcast. It's incredible that we're already in our 4th season, and we're excited to continue bringing you honest conversations, fresh perspectives, and valuable insights from leaders across the UAE's finance and tax sector. I'm Conor McHugh, the founder of Alchemy Search. And before we dive into today's conversation, we're excited to announce our partnership with Alan, the Middle East's leading corporate card and expense management platform. Alan helps companies eliminate petty cash, reimbursements, and manual reconciliations by automating expense tracking, approvals, and accounting, so finance teams get more control and visibility without doing the manual work. Today's episode features Alia Saleh. Alia is the CFO of ISG Middle East and is widely recognized for her work on leadership, future finance, and women's representation at senior levels. Alia, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Very stylish today.
Thank you very much.
Show our viewers a scarf there.
Yeah, you've got cats, because I do love cats. And then if I don't want to show too much personality, I can just show the colourful side.
That's the first scarf we've ever had, actually.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, differentiate. Well, today we've talked off air. It's going to be a very exciting episode. You've always been a great supporter of the podcast, the business. I know you're a very humble person, but a lot of people are aware of you in the UAE. So just quite keen to know, CFO, female, construction company. Rare.
Yes.
So let's talk through all that.
Yes, absolutely. When I first started out, actually, I did think that it was very rare to be a female CFO in construction. But the more I built out my network, the more I built out my community, I found other very senior females in construction. And that's been both eye-opening and it's also been encouraging for me, because I can now WhatsApp people and call people.
Are they tough cookies like yourself?
They are tougher cookies.
Tougher?
They are tougher cookies than myself, and they talk a lot less than I do. So I still bring my own flair to my role.
You brought the flair today with the scarf.
I did bring the flair today, and I do bring my own flair to the boardroom as well. But particularly for ISG, I probably was doing the role a lot longer than when I received the title. And when ISG transitioned its ownership, I was very fortunate to have the new owner recognize my talent, recognize my value, and he just gave me the title without even me asking for it, which that is also exceptionally rare. So I do consider myself quite fortunate to have someone recognize your value, and that's also probably what's happened to the other females who have been raised through the ranks.
Construction, CFO, I know just before we spoke, you mentioned actually back in your audit days, you actually audited a big construction company in the UAE as well. So was it getting that exposure that got you interested in the industry? Or
100%. So when I started out my career as an external auditor with Deloitte, one of the first sectors that I was placed in was construction. And one of the first partners who put me on one of her projects was Cynthia Corby. And she loves construction. I think that's in her blood. And she likes advocating for women to see that side of not just the audit world, but of the industry as well. So the more closely I worked with her on her projects, the more I got to see of construction and of real estate as well. And that sort of piqued my interest. And just by virtue of having experience within those industries landed me my role in the industry as well.
You know, let's dig into a few more bits here. So this is in June, construction. How has the last few months been?
It's been I would say
Compare this time to this time a year ago. How different is your job now?
it is every Harvard Business Review framework rolled into one. So you do mention, or you do hear VUCA. You live in a VUCA world, which is volatile and ambiguous, and you have to deal with the Bonnie impacts, which are brittle and nothing is linear. Well, that's exactly what that's the world that we're living in right now. So it has been exceptionally interesting trying to cope with the ripple effects of whatever is happening. But particularly for finance, I think during this period, I have realized that I should give up wanting to forecast accurately. Accuracy does not give you any certainty. I can forecast multiple scenario after scenario after scenario. None of them will be accurate. But what I can do is create enough visibility for the business to be able to sit down and say, okay, what do we know? What do we know that's changing? Can we quantify it? And do we have enough resource to be able to mobilize and mitigate the risks so before it becomes super expensive? I can't get clarity. I can't forecast to eternity, but I can forecast quick enough to get somewhere near perfect, forget perfect, somewhere good enough for the executive team or management team or even the project teams to be able to say, right, okay, these are the parameters. Let's go with these strategic next steps.
Just for our listeners, I just want you to give an overview of, how you've developed as a person to be in, a very big hot seat that you're in today.
Yeah. Well, you've mentioned the number of issues that you have to deal with in construction, and it's not just small numbers, it's massive numbers, massive movements. One payment on a significant project delays, that creates huge trickle-down effect, and you need to be able to scenario plan again, and to have enough buffers so that you can tide the business through. Now, it has been a trial by fire. I won't deny that. When I first started out, when I first got a seat at the table, there was banging. There was, you don't know enough, you're not ready, you're not forceful enough. And I did walk out of boardrooms crying. I'd go and have a cry in the ladies' room and then come out and compose myself and say, right, let's go again.
Because you are a Dubai baby.
Yes.
I'm correct, yeah. Yes. And this is actually something I also want to dig into.
Sure.
We'll kick off. No, because I know you. Because again, there is a stereotype, Dubai, like if you have your children in Dubai, they don't understand life.
Yeah.
They're not going to be tough. Yeah. They're not going to be. So again, you're an example.
I'm definitely someone who can roll up her sleeves and get stuck into the detail and if I need to. But that's what this role has also taught me. And I think I've been fortunate enough to be persistent and have individuals recognize that talent in me as well. So I can roll up my sleeves and go straight into the detail, work with the team in the trenches, and I can also pull myself up and get a bird's eye view and navigate the tensions within a boardroom. And that's not necessarily been easy. That requires an immense amount of emotional intelligence, which I don't think I have in spades, but I have developed enough to know what to push, when to push, and when to ignore. And what I have learned, I think one of my biggest lessons is I shouldn't ever try and pull someone down or embarrass someone in a group setting, even if I disagree with their opinion, even if they disagree with my opinion, even if they are reacting in a way that I don't necessarily appreciate in a group setting. I never lose my composure. It is have that meeting or conversation outside, one-to-one.
That's a lot of great things about it. But,
lots of egos.
A lot of egos.
Very sensitive egos.
Yeah, I could be one at times. But no, I think I picked up on one thing. You mentioned at one point, you had to go to the bathroom and unfortunately, emotions were high.
Yeah.
For our listeners, because I guarantee people listening have done this.
Yes.
What did you do? Did you call your mother, or how did you develop? Did you get assistance to sort of say navigate through, or was it just resilience, push on through? Or I know you're quite big on mentorship, or what happened?
Honestly, my husband has been my rock. So whenever I have faced tough conversations or tough decisions, again, I try not to be very reactive in the moment. I'll compose myself, assimilate it, and absorb it. Think in my head how I should react, but also discuss it with him. And he helps me navigate my own emotions and then recommends other future steps that I could potentially take with that individual. Sometimes I ignore them completely, but
women can do that.
But
I have 7 that work with me.
But other times it's just good to talk to someone. So for me, that's a husband. But like you said, it could be a mentor, it could be a colleague, someone that you trust will give you, if not advice, or is just a good sounding board. Sometimes you just need to be heard.
And sometimes
is
a problem
you know what to do. I genuinely think people, for the most part, know what they need to do, but they just need to say it out loud.
Yeah, I think some they need a bit of a kick and just,
Yeah, and then go and do it. And most of the time, if it's festering as an individual, I need to have that conversation. I need to have it out with that individual, not in an aggressive way, but in a collected, calm way to say, I didn't quite appreciate this. I would appreciate if you did it in this particular way. Can we move forward? And sometimes it might not even work. Sometimes that individual might not even want to listen to you and say, yeah, whatever, move on. At least you've said your bit.
Yeah, you can see well. Because I think
you can draw the line.
This is a big learning for anyone up and coming. Like, I know sometimes the best times I can have a hothead, and sometimes it's got the better of me. And the lesson learned is never react. If you get a bad email, just put the phone down.
Correct.
Sleep for a night.
Correct.
Because once you put something in writing, it's there forever.
Correct.
And
people, even forget about writing as well. Once you've said it or reacted in the moment and it's quite heated, people remember how you feel.
Yeah.
And you don't want to ever make anyone feel upset, irritated, annoyed, small. Yeah. That's the last thing you want people to feel.
You don't want people if people know they can control you with words, then you're in trouble. And then obviously the times we're in, you're leading a team, uncertainty, that's the biggest thing. Probably, as I said, we're in June now, I actually think things are a lot more stable now, but a few months ago, it was people were panicking, salary cuts, all sorts of stuff was happening in the market. So leading your team, how did you have to navigate that?
For better or for worse, I think my team has navigated incredibly turbulent times long before whatever happened on Feb 28th. We actually navigated a sale of our business in 2024 after the complete collapse of the mothership in the UK. And that was turbulent. That was uncertain. My team, some of my team members had to navigate COVID as well. So I think what I would say COVID has taught us is when it comes to handling employees, or particularly handling their emotions, you need to have a very robust communication strategy wherein you talk and communicate to them often, but be very calibrated in how much information you give. And the reason I say that is, if you say too much and if you say everything that you're thinking about, everything that you're worried about, that will cause unnecessary panic and chaos, which is not needed. But at the same time, employees are exposed to all the news and they are understandably concerned and they want to know what the management team are doing about it. So you need to communicate to them what you know, what you don't know, what you're listening out for, what you're watching, but equally what, more importantly, you need them to do to help the business tide over the uncertain times. They might not like it, but they'll appreciate the fact that you've told them. I've been as honest as you possibly can.
Don't talk too much.
Don't talk too much.
From someone who says she talks too much.
Yes. Yes. You might have to edit a lot out of this particular podcast going, I can't use any of this.
So one golden nugget I think you should have exposure to, and we touched on a bit earlier, is cash. I actually think for you in an industry where cash is king, how do you go about, and share whatever you're willing to share.
Yeah.
How is your cash management? Like, how do you deal when you get a phone call? You're like, oh my days, how are we getting this money?
How long do we have?
We'll do a series.
How to manage cash.
Because I think it's so relevant. Look, again, for people who are not living in this part of the world or experience, like getting paid here is just an absolute nightmare. I can remember when I was in Robert Walters in London, then Dubai, and we'd sit down on the invoices, and obviously it's a global company, and UAE in Saudi was just embarrassingly bad compared to the whole rest of the world. So it happens in all industries.
Yes.
But given the capex, the money involved in your industry for projects is just 0, 0, 0, 0, zeros of all types.
Yes.
In a calm manner. Talk me through that, please.
Whatever I think about, cash is the first thing that anyone wants to talk about, being uncertain periods, certain periods. For me, I normally get those big flashing lights that say, don't panic. Like on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you have "Don't panic" in big, bold red letters. That's what I get in my mind. And that's something that I do think many people should follow. No knee-jerk reactions. Anyway, all of that joking aside in terms of not panicking, hopefully you have a robust enough cash strategy that allows you significant buffers to be able to tide over the peaks and troughs. Because you're in a project-based industry. There will be some points that you will get paid, some points you won't. Sometimes you'll have to give out advances before you actually get anything. There will be certification delays, all of that stuff. So you need to hopefully have developed a cash flow strategy that maintains a certain amount of buffer for you to tide the tough times. Completely understand that now that we're living in an uncertain period, that's even more uncertain than the peaks and troughs, where the peaks are a lot higher, the troughs are a lot lower. I understand that your previous assumptions might no longer be relevant and you need to re-forecast. But having a cash strategy matters, but also reviewing that cash strategy a lot more often matters as well, particularly during uncertain periods.
And out of interest then, how often when it was crazy, like were you, is it daily?
Every day.
Every day, yeah.
Every day. 13-week cash flow forecasts, typically we do it weekly. During uncertain times, daily, sometimes twice in a day.
And have you noticed, and this is a point to give our listeners, I've noticed that not as many people I expected to let go have got let go in finance.
Yes.
So as we finance, like we haven't seen that many people let go. If anything, the finance, you're probably more under the light now.
Yes.
Like talk us through now, do you not feel the pressure, but the CEO or whoever in the business, are you getting calls? What's this? What's that? Well, maybe when times are good.
Yep. It's a lot more. The pace at which, like I said, the first thing that happens when it's uncertain, people want to talk about cash. How much money do we have?
Yeah.
And what do we need to do to protect cash? So absolutely getting a lot more phone calls because everyone is understandably concerned and everybody wants to know how much longer, how much runway they have.
Yeah.
So navigating those emotions definitely has been challenging. Yeah. But anyway, it's all part and parcel of the job.
You're a very proactive person. I know that firsthand, given the she counts, which we'll touch on in a few minutes. But stakeholder management, have you built good relationships in the last year or two where now when you have these people that maybe you only speak to once a month or once a week, now they're calling you every day, every second day now? Like the point I'm trying to get to is the business partnering side of any finance professional is so important where, sometimes you might think, I don't really need to be, not pals with this person, but building the relationships all the time across the organization, it's probably in times of this, it all comes back to you.
Yeah, 100%. And that's across the board, be it the banks, be it your supply chain, be it your employees, be it not just the finance team, but
Alia
across...
was talking to the banks just before this podcast started.
I was. But honestly, those relationships are built well before the uncertain times. Because I find it exceptionally disrespectful or if you do not maintain relationships during the calmer periods as well.
I'm just really trying to drive home this to people that it's just so important to get on with people all around you.
Yes.
Like sometimes you're going to need a bit of a favor done.
Yes.
And maybe you never needed it before.
Correct.
And if you haven't got the relationship with that other person in that other team, they're going to make life difficult for you.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. And you can't just show up when times are tough. You can't just show up when you think you're in dire straits. You need to maintain consistency. And without that consistency, good luck trying to get...
Yeah, that's why it's such an important point. Obviously, I'm a big believer it's nice to be nice, but, build the relationships. Don't be, not ignorant, but don't be that arrogant twat. There we go. We're getting on
the first swear word, I love it. But the first insult. No, but for me, I coined this particular... I don't know if I coined it or I came up with it or I dreamt about it maybe, but communication becomes your working capital.
Yeah, exactly.
It becomes your working capital because the nuggets that you get from the project team, from the supply chain, from the employees, from the banks, from the insurers, through those communications is what eventually allows you to potentially receive more funding, potentially get a little bit of a favor, potentially get lower prices. But the communication becomes your working capital.
Key, yeah. In an era where it's AI this, AI that, as tasks get done more efficient or quicker, what are people left to do? It's management, it's communication.
Yes.
And this is the point which, I think people forget. That
it's the softer skills that are going to matter a whole lot more.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's something for listeners, especially the up and coming people, of course, like AI. And I guess we mentioned AI, might as well open up a little bit. How is AI across construction sectors? I'm assuming it's improving some things.
Yes, it definitely is improving some things. Now, look, I did mention cash flow forecasting every day almost, but without AI tools now, I wouldn't have been able to do that on a daily basis.
Okay, yeah.
So I think from a time-saving productivity perspective, I do think AI tools have been massively helpful in enabling myself and my team to produce those scenarios that the business can use to make their decisions.
May I ask, what is your favorite AI tool at the moment?
It would be a combination of Copilot and Claude. So Copilot, particularly for developing complex formulas, which is great because I'm like, I want you to do this and I want this to do this and match that to that. Build me a formula. It'll do it. And that's brilliant because I don't have to sit there going if plus bracket, curly bracket. I don't have to do that anymore. I can do it. I used to do it very well. I don't need to do that anymore. But I spend now more time developing the prompt, letting Claude do whatever it needs to do to develop the model, reviewing the work, and then getting Copilot to adjust the formulas. So that's what I've found useful right now. That said, I'm on a journey of transformation for not just the finance team, but also the wider business. But what's irritating me is the fact that there are too many tools that do a fraction of the job that you need it to do. And I don't want to end up with a business that has 20 tools to effectively kind of use AI. So I don't want to use it so much.
Claude and Copilot.
Claude and Copilot is what I like to use right now. But yeah, we're looking at how we can maximize their utilization and also potentially use the AI capabilities within the existing systems that we have, because all the ERP systems are now developing to some degree some kind of AI capabilities, again, but only a fraction of what we actually need it to do. So,
And then you're very well connected. You have a big senior finance network. What have you seen over the last few months that maybe people are underestimating? You know, what's been the feel from, the network that you have, or just what you're hearing in the market? Like, what do you think finance people actually are not taking into account?
They're tired.
Tired, yeah.
It's decision fatigue.
They need to vegetate, do they?
They do need to vegetate. They do need to just have time to shut the sound out. But it's decision fatigue and reporting fatigue. Because like I said, if you're forecasting every day, you're making many more decisions with a lot less information. Before you could have a price volatility of X to or A to B. Now it's God knows where the A is and where the B is. You can't predict anything. You need to forecast regularly. Do you present something where you have half-baked assumptions? Probably not, but you need to. But at the same time, if you're only reporting, when do you get time to execute?
And do you get time to do anything else you enjoy then? I think we had someone on the other week and they're very passionate about, something outside of day to day.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're acting.
I do. I was going to say that. Yes.
So is that your release valve?
Yes, 100% it is. I do love the stage, community theatre. And it allows me to be a different person.
Yes.
But it also allows me to learn skills that I can actually take into the workplace, because you need to think on your feet when you're on stage. Because if something goes wrong, you have to fix it immediately without the audience knowing.
Picking up, yeah.
But you also need to be able to read other energies from your cast members. So you need to pick up on whether they're struggling, on whether they're feeling the emotion, not feeling the emotion, compensate for them. And I think in part, perhaps my experience with community theatre and being on stage has allowed me to develop my emotional intelligence muscle.
Yeah.
But yeah, regardless of all of that, and that's me trying to be very academic about the whole thing and trying to pull some strings between what I love doing.
But it's important for you.
I love doing at work and outside. It's very important for me. I need that creative release. I can't paint. So we're
going to see in a few weeks now anyway.
No. A lot of women already know that I can't paint.
You've led the She Counts movement. It's an incredible movement. It's something you guys are doing. There's no financial gain for you guys or anything like that. It's a really good, honest initiative. So just for our listeners, I know, we've collaborated everything, but I think for female listeners, obviously in particular, what drove you to set that up? What's it now doing? And how can people get in touch about it?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for supporting us as well. Really, really appreciate it. Without partners like you, we couldn't have grown to where we are at this point in time. What started it is I needed, selfishly, more women to speak to. Because I was in construction world. It is male dominated.
Come to Alchemy. We're all dominated by women.
But I was like, where are all my females at? So one, I was lonely. So maybe that's why I created the community and co-created with Lata and Bali. But in terms of where we're heading, I think it would be more intentional in terms of the events that we curate and the type of skill sets that we want to inculcate within women, not just senior finance, mid-tier, and those people who are starting their careers as well. What I'm really, really excited about is now we've moved into a mentorship program in collaboration with the University of Wollongong, where 28 women from our community are mentoring 28 students from University of Wollongong. I wish I had that experience when I was in university. I wish I had a senior woman in finance telling me the do's, the don'ts, and helping me build a network as well. So we're really excited about that.
I think it's a brilliant thing. And I think even for us, we do a lot of events. And I think if I was to check issues, we don't do that much for junior finance people or mid-level finance people. And that's me coming out saying that very, very openly. We target obviously senior people. That's the relationships to build, which in turn ends us with money, hopefully. But I think this initiative for our listeners, females obviously, mid-level, up-and-coming talent, it's an incredible movement. And how would people reach out if someone's listening to this now?
You can find me on LinkedIn, message me, find She Counts also on LinkedIn, and join our WhatsApp community where we tend to...
And you do events every couple of months. There's always initiatives in Abu Dhabi and Dubai.
Yes, that's what we do. And we do it for senior women as well. Yeah. So seniors, it's for the senior women to also feel like... Because we've got requests to show them how to use Claude and Copilot. So now it's about finding the sponsors to be able to deliver a Claude and Copilot use case scenario for those senior women in finance. Because some people have done it, some people haven't.
You're going to learn a lot.
Yes.
Alia will talk a lot as well. So
I do tend to talk a lot. I do sometimes need a little timer saying enough.
No, but I think for us, we're very privileged to be part of it, and we're very proud to be in some small part of the journey for you guys. So Alia, we're going to close now with some quick fire questions.
Sure.
If you could shadow anyone for a day, who would it be and why?
That changes depending on my mood or depending on what I see in the news. I think right now it would be Jensen Huang. I want to shadow him for a day. I've seen him give interviews. I'm just fascinated with how he delivers his responses and how he sometimes is not afraid to dance on stage or head out when people are having crucial, critical meetings. He's out in the streets having food. I love that. I want to shadow him.
Sure, I'm out of tuner. Who's Jensen Huang?
NVIDIA.
Really? Yeah. Again, I'm just a simple recruiter.
And now you know.
Now I know. And then, what is the one question you think more people should ask themselves?
Is it worth it?
Good. That was quick response. Thinking on the feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one. And the question we always have every day with candidates is it worth it?
Is she worth it? Are they worth it?
Yeah. Most times not. No, it is. Gen Z, I'm not sure what gen it's on these days now, but how have you found the younger? Is there a lot of young people now in the workforce for you?
Not necessarily, which is why part of the reason for the mentorship program, because I personally, selfishly, again, want to try and interact with Gen Z a little bit more and try to see what makes them tick, what doesn't make them tick, and how I could potentially work with them, because it's all about communication and understanding what they're going through, what their view of the world is versus my view, to try and see if there's a gap to bridge. So
the most important word today, I think, is communication.
Oh God,
Think,
it is.
It's the key thing. I think that's probably the narrative these days is that these guys probably don't have as strong communication.
And it's also regular communication. Yeah. It's regular communication. Because if you can't just fly in, communicate and fly out. You need that consistency, leaves an impression on anyone that you're communicating with.
You can't make a first impression twice.
Yes. That's also there. Absolutely.
There you go. So that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thanks for spending your time with us and being part of the Alchemy Uncensored community. And of course, a big thank you to Alan for supporting this season and helping us bring these conversations to life. We'll be back soon with more insights and more voices from across the region. Thank you, Alia.
Thank you for having me.